Okay, so it's 5 to 3. I've seen 2 videos. I'm telling you something. It's weird how, like, I don't know, like, my day has changed or my time has changed. I don't know how to explain it. But anyways, I've only seen, like, 2 videos, but both of them were ones I wanted to talk about. And, no, I saw 3. I'm trying to think, did I see another one? It was definitely only a couple because I just went on there and then uh, all of them were being like, and one thing is too is, I mean, shit is going down all over the place. So, I mean, I can sit there and say, oh, it's going down over there, it's going down over there, it's going down over there. It's just popping off everywhere now. We got earthquakes, volcanoes, um, fucking fires, fucking attacks, fucking annihilations. Is just like this going. This is we're in it. And to me it's like, yeah, okay. It is like, think about this bottle shaking up. Is it like, think about when you have a bottle and it shakes up and then all of a sudden it's opened. That's what this is gonna be like. That, like, right now, it's everything's shaking up. Like, we're getting shook up. And then it's got open, and it's gonna be, like, explosive. I don't know how, I don't know, I don't know, maybe I'm over, maybe you guys totally get what I'm saying about what's gonna happen energetically. But, in case you don't, that's another explanation. Today, I was in the bathroom, and, man, I still gotta keep catching my breath. There's things I wanna talk about with that. And with all of this stuff. So, anyways, last night, every night is just weird and its own thing. And so they've already eaten. Like, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. They already ate. Because we're out of treats. Stella's been hungry all night, going in the kitchen, having a fit. And it's been an argument. I don't know what the hell Archie's doing all of a sudden. But anyway, sometimes she comes in the bathroom and guards me. Like, I feel certain she's guarding me when I go in the bathroom. And sometimes if I go in the bathroom and she's not in there, she'll cry at me. But then she'll come in and sit and guard me. And a lot of times she's looking at the door. So I feel like she can see or she can sense the energy because it's a lot more down there. And I feel like she gets protective. The other day I went to go try and sleep in the bed when my thing was hurting so bad. And she was crying and crying. So I just came back out here, and I didn't know if it was just because of a loneliness, or she just is like, she doesn't want me back there without her because there is energies back there. And anyways, so she's in the bathroom and she's watching me, and I was brushing my hair, and then so I was brushing my hair and doing that, and she was watching, and so I said, oh, Mom's got to get pretty to go and work. And then I was like, oh, I think I'll put on some eye pencil. If I'm going to be getting pretty, let's just go all in. And so I put the eye pencil on, and I don't know what the holy hell. All of a sudden, it was like a zillion little fingers were tapping across my eyes. I was like, what in the hell? I thought, okay, did I just kind of like make my eyelashes super sensitive by rubbing that up against them? And now my eyes are like oversensitized and going crazy. And so I was just standing there for a minute, like waiting. And then I kept doing it. So I got a Q-tip and wiped it off, but there's still some like remnants up. So anyways, that's why my eyes would look different today. And all this eyebrow color is all its own self. This is all, I've been purposely not coloring any on my eyebrows so that you can watch how they change colors. And in the mirror, this is so much more yellow. It's like a yellow, kind of dirty looking. Definitely doesn't look white like this. So, that's why I keep thinking it's just going to kind of disappear to you guys because once the white, I don't know, it's the weirdest thing. So it may all of a sudden look like it disappears and I'll have people, oh, you colored it. But I don't know how else to show it. And it's just something weird with the light or something because it's definitely, unless you can tell in the video, that how much more, like, it's more like, but that even looks kind of white. So I don't know. It looks different in the mirror though. But I'm trying to do all this stuff so people can see, like, this is real. Aging isn't. It is lifestyle choices. And then they call it aging. And being poisoned and not being healed and stuff. And they call it aging. And then motherfucking, like, I still can't get over the CHEMO in our water. And it is destroying septic tanks. And then they can't get it out of the fucking water. Like, whatever they're doing, because one of the things is like, they said they can't get gabapentin out of the water. Well, if you don't know how bad gabapentin is now, and I was on it for years, and I can see now, like, in court, why the lawyers on the hospital side, they kept trying to make, like, oh, I was on all these medications. That's what I got a brain injury from, was all these medications. And my thing is like, well, it would have, if that was coming from the medications, it wouldn't happen over fucking night. It would have been long term. Not just like go in the hospital and all of a sudden I come out and I don't know where I'm at. I don't know who anybody. Like, fuck off, you fucking God. I cannot stand these corporate fucking, and the lawyer pieces of shit that are just sitting there just knobbing off on them. It's like, fuck off. The lack of integrity in some people just is like, just curdling to me. I have a little bit of tea. Hold on. Oh yeah, and I wanted to say about because somebody had asked, like, because I said it's so fucking cold here. It is motherfucking frigid. And they said, well, is it super warm in your house because you don't have sleeves on? So my morning routine is like, I sleep in flannels and a tank top. And I get up in the morning and it's cold as fuck. And I start stoking the fire. I get the fire really going. And then the dogs are just demanding the whole time. And so I'm doing that, making my tea. So I'm kind of rushing around the house in the morning until I get them to calm down. And because right away it's like, oh, she's up. Wow, what do we want her to do? Food. And when we have treats, it's like, and I've been telling her, like, we got to make some changes on these treats. You guys can't go through a bag of treats a fucking day. Like, something's got to change. Like, and so anyways, I keep telling them, and and it's not even going to be till Saturday. Like, I don't know what's going on with Prime. I guess they're going to say it's Christmas or something. But yeah, a week is like, and it was their treats and her medicine. And I couldn't even get her medicine faster. And that's another problem too we're having. And I'm having to use the RSO, but I don't know. I don't know. There's just all these like weird, frustrating things. So let me think. Okay, so the hair, all of the stuff, I know that I'm not the only person who is having this occur in their life. So I know there's more people, but I just think it's so new to people that people can't wrap their heads around it. And like I said, it's hard when people have heavily aged and then all of a sudden to be like, aging isn't real. Well, it's real for them. It's really happened to them. And then backpedaling, like you can see it's slow, it's tedious. And depending on how far you are into it, but you have to give back your body everything that's been depleted. Oh, and it was my aunt. So my aunt is the one who fell. So there was like there's a whole weird family drama going on that is sidebar in my life. Like I'll hear it randomly. And when I hear the stories, I'm just like, oh my God, what in the hell? What is motivating people to be so fucking hateful? And like when it's your cousins and stuff, and some people are treating their parents so poor. Like whatever you want to think. Oh, well, they were mean to me when I was a kid. I'm telling you, just, you better slow your roll. because you just wait until the fucking mirrors turn and you see you, because it's not going to be pretty, and people don't see it coming, and I can fucking see it coming, man. I can see it so fucking crystal clear. And yeah, the things that people are doing, this is the meet your maker, man. And maker is you, and you can't get away from them. So yeah, it's not going to be good. And hatefulness, man, I just can't get over it. And there's no excuse. There is literally no excuse. I mean, where do you draw the line? So we're going to say, oh yeah, well then, what's her name? What is her fucking name? Rose Gold, Rosie, Goldie. The girl who, with her boyfriend, did it, and her mom, I think, and the evidence is so clear that, yeah. Even another weird thing about it, I think she was like 23 or something when she did. So she was well beyond the time of being able to move out of her house legally. There's just so many weird things about the whole thing. And then to turn around and say, well, I was abused. Then, and then, and then you take that one and then you compare it with the Menendez brothers. I don't think, that's the answer, but that's this different soul groups, man. And that's when my mom was telling me some of these stories, and I was just like, what in the hell? What could be the motivation of being so fucking rude? And then it was just like past life. I was like, I can't understand. Like, I don't know what all has happened between these people and what ball they have up in the air playing back and forth. That's the thing, is when it's in these soul groups, it's like we can sit back and we can go, you're the asshole, you're the good guy, you're the bad guy, but we don't really know the whole story. So it's just like, and it's hard to not be like angry at somebody when they're hurting somebody else's feelings, and really like they've gained like two cousins. It's like the family is split, and the two that are sisters have paired up against the mom and the stepsister, or half-sister. So they're still sisters. They just have a different dad. And but they've decided, no, that they're their own family. They've excommunicated these two. And it's really, really hard on them. And that is hard to watch. It's hard to see people be sad. And that's, and you can go into judgment and think, what the fuck? And people can go with all sorts of things. I'm sure there's people, having this kind of stuff happen and calling and getting involved. And that's where you start inserting yourself in drama. I told my mom, I would tell my cousin, she can call me, I can be there for her, because everybody's going through stuff, and then they don't have anybody and they feel alone, and it just adds to it. But this is all such deep soul stuff. I can't get it across enough about what is going on here. It's like the cleansing of your soul. And this stuff that's going to bring up so much deep stuff that people are not going to see it coming. The depth of what is going to happen in their soul when this thing occurs. And let me show this real quick too before I go off on this other thing. Because I'll show the teeth. And what I see is definitely where it broke off. It had all of this, like, it was like all these little pieces of like this orange, where I thought like, oh, this must be the tissue in the teeth. And that is, the connective tissue in our teeth. And so, like the veins of our teeth or something. And so, I had noticed so much about that. Well, that is closed in. Like, I can't even see all that. Like somebody else, like, I mean, my eyes aren't perfect yet, but, that's another thing too. I've been healing my eyes. Like all these things I've been healing. Like if I was still on their stuff, I'd probably be dead, but I would be blind for sure. And especially if I continued with any of their interventions, no way. I would be just as sickly as anybody else. Oh yeah, and the aunt that fell. So she was at a function. So last week she was doing great. This week she became dehydrated. She fell and just crashed her face. Like she broke all these bones and 7 teeth. Just like, oh my God. Fuck. And she is so tiny. And I bet you because I know last time I had seen her that her hair was very silver. So I'm sure it pulls from your bones, man. And your organs, like you got I can't stress it enough about how important the minerals are too, and how much people have got to start taking it serious. So, anyways, the all of that stuff, and my aunt and all this family stuff, and getting yourself involved in the dramas and stuff, and just having to just recognize like these really are these different soul groups, like situations that they have got going right now, and we're gonna see how things will like in different families and stuff. We'll see for ourselves how things play out, but it's going to be a process. And once people see themselves, that's what's going to be the healing part. But seeing themselves is going to be very difficult. And because they're just like even on mine, I'm definitely blocked by my daughter. So she got mad when I'm sitting there telling her that they're acting childish. And she gets mad at me and blocks me. So that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. Is like people don't see their own behavior, and then when they do, it's going to be like it's in fucking flashing lights before them, and it's going to be like, what? Because yeah, I mean, so okay, now it's up to you, I guess, when we're speaking again, if we ever speak again, because my other daughter did the same thing. It's the same thing, those two. And then the other two, they're the older sisters, and they're the ones with the kids, and they're all super missing me. And it's hard too because the kids are getting older, like the other one's about to turn 2, and the sicknesses and stuff, like it's like, fuck, man, this is a time in the world, it's like, fuck, you want to be around the people you love because you don't know what's going to happen next. So hold on a second. So anyways, let's look at my tooth again. But, oh yeah, I wanted to do a quick recap thing too on the tooth situation, because I kept thinking about it. I was like, okay, when I talk to the dentist and I tell them like I'm not coming for that appointment, that and I'm sure when I say that it's healing itself, they're gonna want to see. So I want to make sure that it's really significant, because I feel like still, if I went in there right now, they would try and convince me, oh no, we need, and it's like, no, I don't need that. And I don't want to argue with them. So, and the toothpaste isn't even going to get here until the fucking weekend. So if that is even going to make a difference, I don't know. Whatever's supposed to be, will be. So, but I was thinking, I'm going to ask them when I call to look at the first time that he said that there was something with that tooth, and what it was that the printout, the submission was, or whatever, the act that they wanted to do. And I was like, there's no fucking way that it would have just been this tiny cavity, because I remember when he said it was this tiny cavity right there, and but he needed to do it. But why would he need to put one of those caps on it? So then I was like, yeah, why would he put a cap on a tiny cavity? No, it had to be that he was telling me he was going to remove that one. He was going to take out the silver, and he was going to put in a whole thing and then put a cap on it. I feel so sure. And him saying, and it had to do with like the age of the filling or the silver or whatever. There was a reason. And I'm sure I can get the thing, but when I put together the thing, it's like, because it was always this $1,200 charge for this tooth. And I'm sure at the time I was probably making the house payments, and it was probably like, fuck, that's the whole house payment, man. And so it was like, I'll have to wait. Because that was the thing too, is when I was making those, that made a big difference. Like when we don't have to pay for living like that, our house, yeah, we can actually live more normal. And so anyways, I don't know all the things, because it was in 2021 was the last time I came. And I know he had told me that like a couple times, because I went every 6 months to get my teeth cleaned. God, this vibration that is going on. It's like my nose tickle. It's like my face is vibrating. The ground is vibrating. It's like everything. I feel like that everything is so fucking intense right now. Or shaky or something. So, especially the ground is just so vibrating. Everything it feels so weird. My face vibrating, the fucking eyeliner stuff, like that was mental. So anyways, the, um, so I was trying to put together the evidence without talking to them and trying to remember and trying to understand myself, you know, because why wouldn't I do this tiny little cavity? Like when he's sitting there telling me it's this tiny little cavity by my gum, I was like, that doesn't make any sense. And then why would it be $1,200? And it was the cap thing. I remember him saying I needed to put a cap on there, and I was like, I do not want another motherfucking tooth with a cap on it. And because this one's gold. I put this one on a long time ago. I think it was like 20 years old or something. It's a gold cap. And then I think next to it, it's just a tooth that has some fillings. Always my back teeth had a lot of problems. And then, and I had these big cheeks. And the dentists were not nice to me about my fucking cheeks either, like yanking them and shit. But those big cheeks closed in on my teeth, and then I think whatever, stripping the enamel, and they were constantly doing those fluoride treatments on my teeth because I would always have cavities. So it's like fucking crazy. And so anyways, I feel like for sure that it was that silver that was in there, and I felt like my body was trying to get rid of it. That's why when I even very first started looking at the tooth, I said, it looks like the enamel is coming off of this filling. Like this filling is trying to, and so I got that hydroxyapatite or whatever, hydroxyapatite toothpaste, and I started using it. I went through 2 different bottles, and I wasn't seeing any change on my tooth. And so then I was like, huh, this is interesting. So I started using the baking soda. I'd only been using it a couple of weeks, and I was liking it, but now I've heard things about it like that can make your teeth more sensitive. It also is very hard on your teeth, so it's not like that you should be scrubbing your teeth all the time with baking soda. And so anyways, it was the weirdest thing because I wasn't even eating anything hard. I was eating fucking coconut, that coconut dough stuff that I had gotten made, and I had taken a bite of that. It's like it's like a piece of candy or something, and I was eating that, and then I kept feeling like, man, what is stuck on my tooth? It feels so weird. And then when I felt it with my finger, because my tongue couldn't tell, my tongue started being all, when I was feeling it, started being able to tell like something's wrong. And so then when I went in to see, then I could see, oh fuck, my tooth broke. How the fuck did my tooth break? And so now I feel like it was like my body pushing that silver out. I swear, it sounds crazy, I know, but I feel like that's what my body was doing, and my tooth broke off at the point so that it would all come out. Because the other day when I was in there and I was talking to the dentist, and he was telling me my tooth was broken and stuff, and I said, well, that's silver. And he said, well, there's no silver in there. There's no filling in there. And he said, that's all decay or something. And I was like, what? So it was like the decay was going back behind the filling. That's probably why he said he had to take it out, is because it was really low, and he said it will go up behind it or something. So I think the decay was going up behind it, but it's like I pushed it or something, made it not stable. It's like my body was doing it on purpose, I swear to God. And so then it broke off. And so when it first broke, it was like this, it looked like this giant thing to me. It had all this orange, this giant black hole. And I was like, fuck. And when I would look at it, it kind of made me, and then it even it seemed like everything was like making the nerve really sensitive, because that was the big long thing too, is it's so close to the nerve. We got to do it immediately. Yeah, he wanted to do it right then and there. And I was like, I don't have any money. See, because things are supposed to be the way they're supposed to be. If I would have had the money, I would have probably just done it right then, because I was so scared of the nerve pain, because I've had so much nerve pain, and it's so fucking horrendous that I was like, fuck, man. So I was being really wreck about that. And so I was like, well, I have to get it fixed. And, but then it was like right away, I started seeing it was fixing itself. And that is what I keep seeing. All the stuff in my body, if you were taking care of it, instead it starts fixing itself. And then I started seeing all the orange stuff is gone. It's filling in with like the tooth color stuff, more the whitish kind of color. I don't know, it's kind of tan color, beige, whatever the fucking color. And then it is and then the black hole seems to be getting smaller. So the whole thing seems to be getting smaller. Like you'd have to go in and take stills if you really wanted to do comparison to think, to see. But, or you could just say, hey, I think our body works different than they've told us. And so, and if you start really focusing on your health and the things that make you healthy, you're going to see shit start turning around. It's so trippy, so weird. And then what makes it even weirder though is when you start telling people and they think that it's like you're making it up. It's like I'm going through it. I'm living it. I'm having this experience. And so it's real. It's not like I'm fucking, well, we're all from other places, but it's not like I'm any different than everybody else. We're all in this birthed in spacesuit thing. And so, well, some of us, like we know that there's other things around us, but I'm talking to those of us who consider ourselves to be human. And so, probably some clones consider themselves human and they don't know, but it's just because they don't know that they are cloned and possibly a different consciousness that has been MK Ultra'd and programmed into believing that they're a different person. So, all sorts of weird shit. So anyways, so this is what it looks like now. And so, it seems so much smaller, but it still has this gap thing to fill in right there too. So you see that? That's black's got to keep healing. But what they were showing me in my head was that it's going to, it'll almost look like that the black is being like it's going over the black, but it's the black healing and going out. So it's like the healing's coming from in, but it's going to look like it's closing in, is like how they showed it to me. So anyways, and when I don't know, like if somebody is trying to heal a tooth, I would say, and you're not having good, good results, I would say really think about all of your minerals, everything that your body is needing. And then you got to think about, like, if you're taking a medication that could be blocking something, because there's a lot of things that are disruptors. And remember, everything is like this domino effect, and they put in these disruptors, and so it puts your body out of whack. Oh yeah, because I'm going to tell you about that, because the temperature in the room. So when I go and I'm going and rushing around this stuff, and then doing the fire and everything, and then I sit down, I'm usually not cold, and it's usually, and then but I have the sweater, I have a blanket right here, and that's why the blanket kind of around me, and then I have the sweater right here. But a lot of times when I start, it starts feeling like it feels uncomfortable. It feels like kind of sweaty or hot or something. Right now though, my arms are freezing. So, and another weird thing with my sweaters, because I have a few of these different black, like, I don't know, kind of like long kind of cardigan kind of, I don't know. But it's weird because I can't get the hair out of them. There's, I don't know if you can see, but there's just hair. I've washed them a couple times, dried them, and I've got a stack of them hanging in there. It's like, I just have to wash them all again. Like, what in the hell? This is so weird. And I keep thinking, like, is this part of the weird thing with this reality? Is it something with the tension and the static electricity or something? Like, you can't get it off your fucking clothes? Like, I don't know. Everything is so fucking weird. So anyways, yeah, and the room is, and it's the middle of the night, and so, yeah, I don't get up and get all dressed and everything. I just grab a sweater. Sometimes I'll have it on and I'll be doing stuff, and then I'll sit down and I'll be like, oh, it's so sweaty and so uncomfortable. So I'll take it off, and then sometimes I'm just up doing stuff and it just is warm, and so I don't even put it on. So anyways, that's the story on why it's fucking dead ass winter and I'm talking with a tank top on because it's just my pajamas. So let me think. Well, okay, because this okay, both those stories. I didn't see. I have to keep trying to catch my breath. It is so weird. It just feels like I don't know. It feels like there's never enough air or something. Like you just like I don't know. Like everything is so strange. Like just how you move, just taking breaths, like listening to my own voice. That's fucking weird as fuck, man. I swear this is challenging sometimes. Um, uh, there's weird shit even with the dogs. There's so much weird shit. I don't know. It's totally like living in a cartoon or something. It is totally turning into a cartoon. It is. And the whole fucking world is so ridiculous. Like it is like a cartoon. Yeah, that's funny. Because in Real Guy, it went from cartoon into being more real, didn't it? Did they have cartoon people in that? I can't even tell now. Or, no, maybe it was all just regular people the whole time. Maybe they did turn into cartoon people at the end. Man, I'd have to go back and look. Why am I even... I know that in my vision thing, that's what they kept showing me, is that we're going from this, like, density of this dense reality into this, like, it's like a cartoon, like moving, like, colorful action. So... that is like the energy shift. But so on this one thing, so there's all these videos, everybody's watching the sky, and people are freaking out. Like there's people over in New Jersey that are being like, why are we even going to work? Like we're about to be space invaded, whatever the fuck's going on. What is the point? What is the point of us going to work and shit? And people are supposed to get to that point. People are supposed to start seeing like, what is the point? Why am I living this way? What am I doing? And so that is a part of the awakening. And you can see like the ships being up there creates it. And so confirmation. And so that has a positive effect on this awakening. So it gets people to really think about like, what are we doing here? And that's what all the awakening is about. And then in the process, you start realizing like you're being manipulated by the government and all this bullshit. And governments are going down. The one in Syria thing. So from what it seems, like I don't have all the whole thing, but it seems like a regime took over. And then if you went against them, they start arresting just the same way as they're trying to do here. They've already done some. And so you go against them, then they arrest you. So there was all these people, just regular folk who've been in prison, I think for like 12 years or something. They've had these people in prison as long as this dictator has been in power because they were against the government or something. So that's this thing that just happened. All these people were released. Syria got its power back. Like it's a whole thing. So there's really some really magnificent things happening over there. One thing that got me when I was a kid is when I realized that these people have been having these religious wars for hundreds of years. That also takes me back to these settlers and these tribes and stuff like that. Oh yeah, let's, because this is, I think it was interesting too, because this is another one of these videos I saw this morning. So I'm skipping off of that one, off of the sky one, but I'll go back to it because I want to say this one because it has to do with all the different tribes and stuff. And so in Mexico, so this was, I don't know how many years ago, 15 years ago or something. I'm not sure. But I could be off on the year. There is a video I can share if somebody wants to see it. But there was this woman who was from this tribe in Mexico. It was a very small tribe. This is another thing. All these little tribes, they're not all earthling tribes. Some of them are like tribes of other beings that came here as settlers long time ago. And they've been out in these little places And I think that that is like the controller, like this other group of these other beings that want to control, that they have been trying to get the other ones. Like these battles aren't just here. This is like these battles uh, with the controlling group of aliens over the ones that just want to mind their business. So these battles have been going on for a long time. And so that is a part of these wars that have gone along for a long time over there for hundreds of years and stuff. And so now it is like this freedom. But I like the people who are over there, like I don't know what they're told or their ancestry and their history and stuff. I think there's probably some tribes out there who know that their family they come from somewhere else and that they were brought here. But I think that there's a lot, it was such a long time ago that they don't realize that. I think that is going to be a part of what people are going to realize too, is how much bigger their world is when this stuff happens, when they all of a sudden realize like, look, we aren't just, from Syria. You mean we're from Syria? You know what I'm saying? So anyways, we don't know where all they're from. I have just heard that primarily in all of the lands that are around and out, because everything is the lands that are out, and that they're all, almost all, if you listen to the Secret Space Program, guys, almost all the different people are, that are humanoids are of darker persuasion. That is just a part of the beings. And so that's another weird thing about just they're trying to create just white people, because it's their creation that they're trying to do. But you still have to have souls that go into them. And any of our souls, unless, you were taken in a box and then put into something and programmed and told that you were something else, then, but we come in freely. They would come in freely, I guess, for that. They would have to know that that was going to happen. Like, I don't know. It's so weird. Some of this stuff is so weird to me sometimes. It's like who would do that? But then there's other things like that I'm sure other people are like, why would someone come in and have that done to them? So, I don't know. I don't know. There's some things that are just so strange. It's like weird, because did those souls not know they were going to get trapped? But anyways, so because we know when we're coming here, we know what we're coming for and stuff. It's not like you're just taken out of your home out in outer space and they just take you and throw you into a new body and tell you you have to be reincarnated now. No, you are the one lining up. Hey, I want back in. And so, anyways, we got all these tribes all over the place. And because some of these are ancient tribes. And so this tribe, I don't even know what they're called, but they're like from Chiquita or Chihuahua or something, some kind of name like that in Mexico. And so, and they are known to be the fastest runners and stuff. So this lady, she goes out for a walk in Mexico. And she ends up in Kansas. And another thing too, in Mexico, because when I had gone to Mexico, one thing that stood out to me, that it wasn't just people speak Spanish. You have different tribes that have their own language. And so, and then the person I just heard talking about this case said there's 60 different languages in Mexico. There's a whole bunch of these other languages by these other tribes. And so, and not everybody understands them. It's usually just their tribe. And they aren't bilingual. They just can speak with their own tribes. They don't have contact enough to learn all these other languages. So, and I think when you're there, people just develop a way of communicating or whatever, because everybody's kind of used to, like, not everybody speaks the same language. So anyways, like they didn't all go, oh, well, let's all speak English then. We'll all just speak English. How about that? No, that's not how it works. So this lady, somehow she goes out for a walk and she ends up in Kansas from Mexico. Like, Okay, that again, it was like, okay, there is no fucking way that somebody's gonna tell me that there's not goddamn portals all over in the fucking mountains, and you just end up in different places. Like you go in through a path and you come out in a different place. Like there's magic in these forests, there's magic in these mountains, there's magic in these paths. They're like portals. And so, yeah, how did she skip across all those other places and end up in Kansas? Like at some point, she would have all of a sudden realized, like I would think in Arizona or New Mexico or wherever it was she came through, like Kansas is far from the border, that she would have been seeing cars and all that stuff that whole way walking. It wouldn't have been all of a sudden in Kansas. She would have been like, where the hell am I? Like she would have noticed a little sooner. And she's walking from the desert, and then all of a sudden she's in the city. And so that to me is more of this confirmation that what I'm saying, that some of these places that they go walking into the mountains and they end up somewhere over here. Like there is way more ways of us to be able to get around than this bullshit with them. We gotta fly over here, we gotta fly over there, we gotta take a train here. It's all part of the controlling us, all part of controlling our movements and having restrictions. They want to restrict everything. I saw a video yesterday of a guy and another guy. They are kayaking. And it's like through the English Channel or something. And I don't even know the whole thing that they were doing. I can't remember. It was like they were starting in Scotland and they were going to end up... I can't remember where they were planning to end up. And so they were going, and it was like a big ordeal to get through this part. But now they're at this part in France or something where they've closed it off. You cannot travel it for the next like 3 months or something. So these people are like, now they have to get some other way to get through there. I was like, how can they fucking control our movements like this? Like, it is mental. You go into a fucking little boat thing going through the water, and then nope, you can't pass. Nope. Goddamn trolls, man. That's where that story comes from, because they're in control of all our movements and always fucking handing out there, where's your papers? How do you get to move around? Where are you? And then look at how much money they even charge us to move around. Like the whole thing is absurd. Even the price of the passports and stuff. Like as soon as more people started fucking traveling, then they started charging more for passports too. So anyways, it's all some fucking nonsense. And I feel so certain that there is, I bet you that some of these places that are doors and stuff in the mountains, I bet you that they're to cover up portals. I bet you that as soon as that these people can find portals, like, because that's what I'm sure is why they're doing this to the Grand Canyon, is because it's so full of portals. And and I don't even know if all this footage is real, but there's all sorts of things where people are showing like the Sphinx, pyramids and stuff. But then there's all these people that are doing all this AI stuff. So I don't know. We just got to keep watching as things play out. As things are going to play out. There's no getting around that. It is, things are going to play out. This was the other video. Okay, so let me finish with this woman. Yeah, so she ends up in Kansas. This little tiny lady, a little tribe lady from this place. And she can't speak any English or anything. So they lock her up in a mental hospital. They locked her up in a mental hospital. And they kept her there 12 years. Then a committee came in to go over all the different people's records and started looking into hers. And they saw she's not mentally ill. They've been drugging her this whole time. She has no mental illness, and they knew where she was from. They knew what her tribe was and everything. And nobody had ever done anything about it. All the people kept saying, well, I don't know where she's from. I don't know shit. Everyone just blew her off. Nobody cared. She's a little dark-skinned woman. Who cares about her? And so she was locked up for 12 years. They finally figured it out. They let her out, but then she died a couple years later. It's like, did they even get her back home? Like, oh, God, this world, man. So fucking crazy. And so this other video that I saw this morning. So this guy is in St. Lucie, I think it's called, Florida. And he's been documenting this for a year. And this is the first time I've seen it, or if I've seen some of the other ones, there's a lot where people are showing stuff in the skies that I just go past because I already know it's up there. I've been telling you guys it's up there. I've been telling you this stuff is real. And so, yeah, I'm not, because there's all these people are like trying to figure it out, looking and discussing it and all this stuff. It's like, you guys. So anyways, I don't watch all these videos. And so I could have seen his videos before and just never noticed. But today, so he's like, please watch. This is long, but you guys got to see this. I've been trying to tell you, and this is about to go down. He's like, this is things are about to change. He's like imminent. Like things are about to happen, and it's right at the thing. And he says so. I don't know if he has contact with them and stuff because I don't watch all this stuff, but he is, it seems like it's some kind of contact, like and his role is to wake people up about this and prepare them. And so he keeps talking about it and showing this video. And so he said there's a mothership above St. Lucie, which in the video he showed, it looks like there's a few, and there's a whole bunch of little ships. And he said it's like a mile, or did he say 100 miles? Oh no, huge mothership above this place. And so he goes to this area that's underneath it, and the ground is fucking moving. It is so trippy. It is, I don't even know how, it's like everything is moving. And he said it's really weird to stand here because everything is moving. And he starts trying to explain that they're trying to get people to understand that it's a simulation and everything is moving. Like I don't know if it's going to be something all of a sudden with us that we all of a sudden are the moving. I don't know what's going to happen to wake us all up. What the situation's going to be. Whatever it is, don't get scared. Even if you feel like all of a sudden there's all these ships, but you can't move right, and they're putting you in a freeze or something, it's the change in atmosphere. It's the change in the frequency. And the lower that they come, and I keep saying about there's something strange with the firmament or something, and the sounds are so fucking loud. Last night, it started being so much more loud. Like when somebody starts their truck and it just rumbles right through my house. It's like, where is this coming from? Yesterday afternoon is when I noticed it first. And I opened the door and I was like, what in the hell is that? And it was like this real loud, and my house shaking. I was like, oh my God, is this ship about to come in? And then it was like a truck. I was like, oh my God, how can a truck be this intense? Just somebody starting their pickup. And then one just went by a little while ago. I was like, oh my God, this is so loud. It's the middle of the night. That is so weird. And then there was another one earlier when I went, and I've never even heard, what in the hell are all these trucks going by? And they're so fucking loud, and they're just regular trucks. I tried to look out and stuff to see, is like there a tank coming or something? What is going on? So I don't know. And I have seen other people say about the sky and that the planes are not matching the sound. So I'm not the only person who's noticing that. And so other people are noticing it. And it can be in different areas. Don't forget, we're in different areas or realms or something. It's not the way they tell us it is. And so things can be more impactful here and less there. It could be, just like, I was talking about the fake sun for like a fucking year before people started seeing it in other places. 2 years for some people. And so, I don't know if we're practicing over here or what the hell happened. So, I've said that there's so much weird stuff about this where I'm at all the time. There's something weird about the atmosphere or something. And so, anyways, if it is going to be like them lenient, maybe they are creating this extra atmosphere or sound barrier just by all these ships that are all around us. But he was making like it's going to be all of a sudden they're going to turn on. They're going to come into our vision or something. But in this area where he's at, everything was moving. So the grass was all doing this, the water, some of it looked like it was almost like glitchy, like it looked like otherworldly. Like if I was him, I would be tripped out to stand there. I would feel like this is a portal. This is the energy is not the same. And but he was showing it and stuff. And he was showing the stuff above, and something about what they were telling him or something. So something about they're trying to get us to see that this is a simulation, and that so it could be something, because in that one QHHT thing, that one lady said it's like the simulation goes off for a minute, and all of a sudden we see what's real, and then it comes back on. If it goes off for a minute, what you're going to see is just a bunch of color and lights, because you would just see all of the different energies. And so it would look very different. It would have no form. It would just be, it would be very intense, especially if you had no idea. You know, it would be like a ayahuasca trip or something for somebody like that. Will be, and it'll be like these people don't have their guides or whatever, so it's all of a sudden gonna be like, what? So I don't know. That could be. I mean, it said in that QHHT, this guy is saying that they keep trying to show something about that this is a simulation, and that you know, and I know that in the frequency and the vibration and stuff, and I know it's all changing, and I know it's us changing. Well, some of us, some people are not, but you can't even just say, like, you know, when you see people doing shitty things to other people, well, you know, well, too bad for them, they're not going, you know, like kind of like the religious people, you know, they are kind of like that, like there's a hierarchy in this rapture situation. And so the people who are where was I? The people who are, always goes back to the people. So if the simulation went off, and then all of a sudden we were to see what was real, that would definitely get us to understand, you know, because there's so many people who are so caught up in their body form, thinking that's who they are. And oh yeah, because it was a thing about like where you think like, oh, these people are good, these people are bad, those people won't go, these people will. Getting into that kind of like you know what's going on, then because some of these people, they're here to see themselves. They're here to learn about their own behavior and their own attitude so that they can cleanse it and heal it. So not everybody who's doing shitty things are going to not be in the next part. I don't think it has to do with that. I think it has to do with everything lining up so you can see these really dark sides of yourself. And so you can cleanse them and heal them and let them go, because they hold you back. And it's like, they don't hold you back when you're outside of the game, when you're just in your soul, because your soul is a higher vibration. But this ascension thing, this thing that is occurring, is like us getting to stay ourselves. It's like we get to go forward without having to leave this character that we're playing. We get to carry the character forward. And so but in order to carry your character forward, you have to cleanse your character. It has to cleanse its soul, because you're not going to go to the life review to cleanse it. So it's like going through the life review in life so that you can cleanse it and stuff. And who knows, like, I guess that's, to me, is the solar flash. When the solar flash happens, that is when it's the separation, to me, of where the souls that are going into Age of Aquarius and the souls that are going someplace else separate out. The ones that are going to Age of Aquarius, that are ascending, that are staying their character, they will go forward in a different way, And then, I don't know if it's going to be like this flash, and then some of us go one way and some of us go a different way. I don't know. It seems kind of like that, but it seems like the majority of people are going to go into the age of Aquarius. It doesn't, to me, I mean, there's going to be a lot of people who aren't. Like, I don't know, like on some of these ones where we have like these whole countries that seem to be this tribe or something, like I feel like some of these places, some of these tribes are going to go back to their homeland or something. They're going to go back home, so they aren't going to go towards the age of Aquarius. But it's going to be all different. I don't know, we'll see. But the people who are going forward in the age of Aquarius, it's going for the creation of a new world. So, and it's got to be, it's like inside you. It's like a drive inside you. And I think a lot of people are getting excited right now, like their souls are getting excited. And I think a lot of people don't know how to recognize their soul's excitement, and it feels like anxiety, because it definitely feels like tension and anxiety, like it's very intense on the planet right now with the energy. And so trying to read your own energy could make you feel like, fuck, I'm a nervous wreck. But really, your soul's so excited for about what's to happen. Because when it goes down, it is going to be that people are going to see their soul. They're going to understand their own self. And so, and I don't know if it is going to be like all of a sudden these ships turn on, and then, I don't know. It's so weird. I don't know how this is going to play out, because when you try and put the pieces together for, okay, well, if that happened, then you try and get all logical about it. It's like, well, I don't know how that would go down. I don't know how that would go down. Like, I don't know. Like, all of a sudden, we have all these ships and they all turn on, and all of a sudden, we see all of this. And then is their whole thing to try and help us understand that we've been enslaved, and so that they're a part of our leaving, because there wouldn't be all of the anger and the violence, and the anger and the violence seems to have to play out, because otherwise it becomes stored energy and stored emotion, and this is a period of cleansing. So it seems weird. Like, there's so many things, it's like I don't know how that's all going to fit together, because it's like all these different parts. It's like having all these parts on the table, but you don't know how to put it together to make the thing be what it's going to be. You just got to wait and see what parts they take, this part and they take this part. And it's like, I don't know. Because the solar flash thing seems to be the biggest separation. We already have the separation occurring, but we haven't even gone into the healing because people haven't even seen the truth yet. And so we haven't even gone into that. I think that the 2025 is supposed to be this time of mirrors, which will be all the time of the cleansing and the healing and all the stuff that people have to heal and cleanse from their souls. And, but we have all of this part, because we're going to go into this giant quantum leap, but it's not going to be like, hey, I'm down at the bar having some drinks, and now all of a sudden next week I'm going to be, driving around my flying machine and everything's cool. People have to, there's a humbling that has to happen. And so that humbling is like the awakening. It's like this, leveling. It's like bringing us all to the same level. And especially in this state of hierarchy where people think they're better than other people. People think if they have money, they're better than other people. People think if they're attractive, they're better than other people. It's just all of this nonsense. And then people start believing it too. It's like, no, it's your soul is what matters. And, there's a lot of people who don't put out good energy, and they screw people over. And so, and they can be good looking people, and they're just, not nice people. They use their looks to screw people over. And then people look at them like, oh my God, they're so lucky, they're so pretty. And it's like, it really has nothing to do with anything. Just like skin color has nothing to do with anything. It has to do with what you are here for, your challenges, what you're here to learn and experience. It doesn't have anything to do with, you know, one that just popped into my mind too. So you take somebody who's really gorgeous looking, and it could have been in the past life they were quite hideous and they were treated really poorly and stuff. And so then they get birthed in as somebody who's quite attractive, so that then they can see the experience, so that they can it's putting all these experiences together. It's making a whole story. It's not just getting the little part of it, you know, because if we just got a little part of it, then we would stay stuck. It's like you have to develop the whole thing. You have to see it from all different views and all different perspectives. And so it's not ever just going to be just one thing. It's not just like, you know, oh, this person's so gorgeous, they're probably born every life gorgeous. That's not how it works. Like everybody's been born gorgeous. Everybody's been born hideous. Everybody's been born poor. Everybody's been born all different colors, all different genders. You've been born in tragic situations. You've been born in good situations. You've got a fucking lot of situations in your DNA, like in your makeup of who you are. And so that is, I mean, most people are pretty developed as a being. And so you have a lot to you. So you have a lot of lives that developed you into the being that you are. And so so anyways, I keep getting into like a part where I like get lost or something. So let me think back to where I was. Okay, so like it's hard to think, like, because you would think like, well, if all of a sudden the spaceships all of a sudden come on and we all of a sudden see those, well, wouldn't that be like we're going in the age of Aquarius, this quantum leap and stuff? So I don't know, because then we still have to have all of these governments, all of the medical crash, all of these things have to crash, and they're going to. Medical is going to crash. And I just saw there is a doctor movement that Mr. Meg's growling, by the way, is there's a doctor movement that is leaving the corporation. And so they're starting their practices. You just pay a monthly fee or something to the doctors, this doctor group. And I think they're trying to start them all over the place. It's just doctors trying to unite and come together and just make simple practices. So you can just pay, I don't know what the cost is. And I don't know how it's going to develop or whatever. This is probably just like the beta thing that they're trying to put together. Is so you pay a monthly fee or something, and then you can just go in and be seen. So it's kind of like a clinic or something. So I don't know, but there is doctors who are trying to leave the corporation because the corporations are trying to tell them how to take care of people, and the corporations don't have medical background. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. That's why I said, even when this Dovec thing started back in 2020, as a nurse, when I saw what was going on, and I was saying that they're following protocols, they are just doing these certain things, and they are, they were doing people in nonstop. And then, you know, I would hear these medical people say, there's this one nurse who was really outspoken. I don't know where she is now. I would think she probably left nursing, but she would be crying and everything. And she was like, they're making us do these protocols that are, you know, killing people all over the place. And it's because administrators are not the one. The people who are trying to save money and get bonuses, save the corporation money and get their own bonuses. What is so mental is that now there's people who are going in and getting all these CEO salaries and stuff and posting them. And these people are making such huge amounts of money, getting bonuses and everything else, and all off of, you know, denying us healthcare, denying us what we need. They make money off of that. So they're all getting rich off of our sickness. And that's why I said there's going to be, when the tables turn, when the lights come on and people see There's going to be a lot of people who thought like, oh, they're so lucky. They've got everything. They've got so much money. But it's going to be seen the lack of integrity and the disgusting side of them. It's all of a sudden, it's like you're going to see right through them and see the darkness inside them. And they're going to have to be the one that has to cleanse that. And it's going to be hard for a lot of people. A lot of people who don't even think they have a soul, all of a sudden to try and figure out how to cleanse something that they didn't even know they had, and all of a sudden it's big and heavy on them. And because once their soul comes on, it's fucking relentless. It is relentless. It will, you are going to look at this. You are going to look at this. You are going to see this. You are going to see this. It will keep you up all fucking night to make you look at what it is that you need to look at. It will keep you up and it will make you do it. It doesn't care if you're crying. It doesn't care if you've been crying for 2 weeks. It doesn't care if you haven't eaten. Nothing is going to make you see what it is that you need to see. And a lot of people don't know what to do with it. They don't know what to do with the information. And so I would say what the biggest thing is just to don't block it. Don't try and keep it from coming in. Whatever information is coming in, just let it go. Let it be free and process through it. When you process through it, it's almost, to me, like reliving it. It's like re-looking at it, only you're looking at it now from an observation point. You're not in the experience. Now you're looking at it from a different perspective, a different point of view. And so when you are looking at it, you will see it differently. And I would say open yourself up to seeing it very differently. Like put it out there to your guides, even if you don't realize that you have guides, you do. So put it out there, because it's like that they kind of, like how I see it is like they're in charge of the projector. Like they're the ones who are sticking the slides in. So talk to your guidance and say, you know, like show me what it is that I need to see. Help me understand what it is that I need to let go of. Where is it that, why is this happen the way it happened? Why did I make these choices? Like it's so much about the questioning and trying to understand yourself. But you have to look at yourself to start trying to understand yourself. And so when you're reliving it, you're going back into it. If you're still super raw on it and you're still super angry at this other person or whoever it is, it could be a lot of different things. But if you're still real angry about the situation, and some of it is going to be the people, their own selves, that they're going to be like so disgusted with of their own behavior. That's going to be the harder one to heal. It's way easier to heal what someone's done to you than what you've done to someone else. So, and a lot of people, like, I don't have to try and convince anybody because everybody's going to be saying it soon enough. And it's way easier. And so, so that's why be mindful of the things you do and the things you say. Because when it comes down to healing what you've done and what you've said, then that is way, way harder. And you will beat yourself up. And so, so anyways, just be mindful of that. But so when you're trying to relive it and you're looking at it, you just process through it. And to me, it was like I try and see the other person's point of view. I would try and understand how it was that they were seeing it instead of how I was seeing it. And then, and that was, especially during my dark night or whatever, that was during my the biggest cleansing part, was trying to understand that of who I was. And it had so much to do with me as a mom and me at that age of, well, I mean, it was most of my life was being a mom at that point, because I started being a mom when I was 20 years old. And so, all that time and all of my mistakes and all these men that I would hang out with or go out with or marry or whatever, and my own desperation, my own neediness, my own lack of boundaries, that was such a huge one for me. Like if somebody wanted to push in on me, I didn't have the ability to tell them to get away from me. I always had this urge of like, I didn't want to hurt people's feelings. I was always like, oh, I don't want to hurt their feelings. So I'd always put my feelings aside and let my feelings be hurt because I didn't want anybody else to feel bad. Like that's toxic. And you got to get a balance in that, because you can't live like that, and you will become resentful. I was something too that I was thinking about was when you are all, let me think if I can get this straight, because it is when you're always trying to, oh yeah, okay, it was something about moms, and something about, so as moms, there's lots of moms that try and be super perfect and do everything really perfect. But then also that has so much negativity that comes with it too, because then they start putting it off on other people, because it kind of like in that movie Stepfather or whatever, you know, he has this idea and everything has to be so perfect, and then when it's not being perfect, it starts being their fault. They're not good enough, and then he just does them in and goes and finds a new family. But anyways, kind of like that, like the person, it projects out, and so it's super toxic. But it was something else that I was being shown about moms, and this trying to be perfect, but trying to do everything, be everything. And the, man, I can't see it good enough. It's so weird too, because it was like this whole thing I was seeing, but it was, there's a lot of those things where I'll see them and I can't get them through. And if it was meant to come through, it would just come through. So, but it's just weird, because sometimes it's like, it was so deep, and it was so like I have this deep understanding all of a sudden, and then I'll try and express it, but it's like, but I know that there is like a lot of toxic behaviors that we can develop as women, especially as women who have been abused in some way, which in all of our lives, we've all been suffered through abuses. So no matter, somewhere in your existence as a soul, you've been abused and you've been the abuser. So you've played these parts. But in this life, in this like system, in this scenario of family development and stuff, there is like so much toxic stuff about with moms. And what was it? Because it was something about, because the dogs keep reminding me and keep pulling me back to this period of time of being a mom. Only that it's them, it's not like little kids, but it's like the same kind of things. It's so weird. I'll be in there cooking cookies and making stuff, and like the way that they act and behave and stuff, and it was making me think about this certain thing about being a mom. And there's so many moms that are so frustrated because, you know, they're always being judged. You're never good enough. You're always failing somebody. And it's so easy to fail yourself, because most moms really spend a lot of time failing themselves. And they are trying to always please other people. Oh, because this video I saw the other day too, I couldn't believe this one. This is a young mom, and she was bawling her head off, and she is like, has no idea what to do. And she doesn't want anybody judging her, because that's all anybody does, is everybody judges everybody. But she just wants somebody to help her figure out what to do, because she's at a loss. And she's a 5-year-old and a 7-year-old, and they just keep kicking her ass. They're just beating up on her all the time. She's gone through all these different things that they say, and all I did was leave a comment, was like, have you tried the belt? Like, I grew up on the belt. And there's a lot of people who they have demonized the belt, and the belt shouldn't have to be used all the time. Like, you give like, if your kids are kicking your ass, there's a power problem. And they're like kicking her in the face, punching her in the face, slapping her in the face, all sorts of shit. And it's like she has no control. And she's got to fucking show control. And sometimes it does have to be through that dominant kind of like, I will beat your ass, kid. And, you know, I'm telling you, there was the whole tension of having to sit on your bed all day and wait for your dad to get home. because he was the one who was going to pull his belt out of his pants, line you up, and everybody's going to get their asses beat with the belt. And there was other people who went through, like, their parents would make them go out and get a switch off the tree. Like, there's a ceremony to it. Like, but that doesn't mean that you start just beating the snot out of your kid. It is, that's where I think things went too far, but it's the parents who lose their minds. Like, that is got to be a very controlled kind of corporal punishment or something. Just like back in the day when I used to get licks at school or something. You got to kind of take it as like, because it got all these kids now with all these diagnoses, ODD and all this, where they're making these excuses. These kids are out of control. They won't listen to anybody. It's like, but you also have a society where, you know, it's time out and trying to reason with them. Not every kid can be, and especially when you are messing with the frequency and chemicals, they're chemical of their mind. So, yeah, I don't know. I would think sometimes you got to sometimes you got to slap somebody to get them to wake up, you know, to get them where they're hysterical, and somebody else slap them to get them to calm down. And so it's kind of like the same thing, like with the kid. If the kid is going crazy like that, I would 100%. If I had two little boys that were beating my ass, I would fucking get a belt. 100%. And I wouldn't start. Because if you don't do anything, it is going to turn into a brawl. What are you going to do when they're 10 or 12 years old? Yeah, like Menendez situation. Because they've overridden you. So you have to show who's the one in control, who's the one in power. And a lot of parents don't have that confidence. And so much has been beaten out of people, them own selves. And you got to learn your own strength. And that is a big one on boundaries. Like, you've got to be able to stand up to your little kids. You got to have them be the ones that are scared of you. You shouldn't be scared of your kids. Like, this isn't fucking Corn Maze or whatever the hell that show is called. Children of the Corn. Like, you got to, or the little kid who doesn't like what you say is going to put you in the TV. Like, these are kids that you got to get fucking control over. And these are ones that you're going to be putting out into the world for the rest of us to deal with. So, yeah, you can't just be like, we have such extremes. We have these extreme people who just, you know, won't do anything. Like, there's this other lady, and I don't even know why she videotapes this. It's so fucking obnoxious. And it really makes people cannot stand her kid. And the whole aesthetic, too, with her kid is very Honey Boo Boo at the time period. And only she's... I don't know if Honey Boo Boo was this obnoxious. This kid's so fucking obnoxious. And she'll sit there and be like, tell her mom, you know, like, you're a bitch. You're going to get me what I want. I don't know how old this kid is, like 10 years old or something. And the mom's always videotaping it and showing this. And I think that there's some people who think, like, is this a skit? Like, are they just doing this? Is this for real how their family dynamics are? Because it's out of control. Like, the girl just takes what she wants. It is insane. And then instead of freaking doing something about it, you're just going to try and publicly shame her and make her be humiliated. You look like you don't know how to parent very well. So it's not just her being humiliated, because you're humiliating yourself. Because everybody's like not looking at it as like, oh, look, her child's so bad. It's like look. You have got no control over your kid, and the whole thing is so fucking obnoxious. I can't even believe it. And that's another one of those ones on TikTok. And it's another one of those ones that have been blowing up too, because it's ridiculous. And so I don't know. This is a part of our society where these moms, like, I don't understand why that they won't just give them a spank or something. And I think if you had those boys, if they misbehave, like, you got to get a little bit more militant. You got to find some balance. You can't just be way over here. Oh, look, everybody, I'm the victim. Horror me. Look at my kids kick my ass. It's like, how do you find balance in there? You've got to figure it out. You've got to be the one who maneuvers through this and gets control. And you may have to use other tools that you didn't want to. Maybe you thought you were above spanking. No, I would never spank my child. My child is perfect. I would never do that. And and now your child's kicking your ass, and it's not going to get better. Reasoning with a child, especially, like, we don't even know what the fuck they've done with the programming on some of these kids and medications and all the shit that they have done. You know, like, trying to reason with them, you don't even know if they can think straight. So not all the kids can be doing it. Just like we have a whole shit ton of kids that are considered autistic. All these different kids considered to having all of these different diagnoses. Just like me, I would be carrying a whole fucking shitload of diagnoses. I would be schizophrenic, attention deficit. Well, I'm sure I could get that oppositional defiancy too, because I'm anti-government. I'm anti-this. I'm anti-cop, like all that shit. It's like, fuck this shit, man. So anyways, and I'm not a little kid, and I'm not caught up in all this stuff. And the parents, I think then they start being like, oh my God, my kid's an antisocial, ODD, all this stuff. I think that there's people who start getting scared of their own kids, just like that one guy. His kid was scary, though. His kid was scary as a motherfucker. His kid was like writing out how he was going to kill everybody, and he was stalking the neighbor family down the thing. I would be freaking out if I was a parent of that one, too, because the one guy whose kid did go and doing something else, he got charged. And they're going to be more of that. And I don't even know. I don't know if that's a part of us seeing how absurd this judicial is. And oh God, there's so much more going on with the fucking, what is it called? I keep hearing annihilation, but it wasn't annihilation. It was assassination. So so much more with that, and so much weird stuff with the monopoly thing. There's more reference too. Where he went was a place, a Pennsylvania place or something. And the whole thing about turning himself in, yeah, it's absurd. And his picture does not look, the two pictures don't match, which I said, I would not be surprised if they start pulling out all these different ones. And there's supposed to be something that's going to be dropped today. And there's going to be more. It's going to keep going and going. And it is, to me, kind of like that V or something. It's like this group of change that is going to be changing things, but I don't know, it's almost like them creating, like if you were to think like the White Hat's creating this, then you would think it's almost like they're our Robin Hood. So we don't have to do anything because we got a Robin Hood out here doing it for us. So we can all sit back. So it's like, to me, it's like another way to keep the general public at bay. Although that it also opens up a lot of people's thing. Well, if he's going to do it, I'm going to do it too. Because then there was a guy who just got pissed off at a car dealership and just drove the fucking car right through the fucking dealership, got out of the car, said some shit, and walked off in there. Call the police, call the police. And there's going to be more and more of this kind of stuff. Vigilante, I'm done with the corporation, because people are fucking done. They are so fucking sick of this shit. And people are getting just fucked raw, man. And everybody's fed up. And so there's people who are reaching that point. But I think that is kind of like, if you think about this situation, the way it's playing out, is to kind of give us a Robin Hood, kind of give us somebody who's out there doing the work for us. He's going and taking care of these people, and it gets us to be there cheering him on. And kind of like in the real Bonnie and Clyde story, that the people were cheering them on. That's kind of why the government started going after them so hard, is because there was so much support by the people over what they were doing. And the story's so much different than what they told. And if you don't know all the Bonnie and Clyde story, there's a lot to it. But it is, it's different than what they tried to tell us. Because I was really into Bonnie and Clyde. Like, I was really intrigued by them when I was younger. And they were over by, there's always been like a lot of crimes like around wherever I was. Everywhere I've lived, there's always been serial killers, a few serial killers. And then there's always been this weird stuff. Just like on my uncle's farm, there was a house that was out at the end of his field. And that house was the guy who was the killer in... let's see, Truman Capote wrote about it in Cold Blood. So one of the killers lived back there. And so it was always I don't know, there's just always been these things that seem close. But Bonnie and Clyde, or whatever my draw was to them, I was always very intrigued by them. And, but the way it seems to me is that they were really good people. They were really nice people. They were getting it was a lot of the media, and a lot of bullshit. And so, I don't know, you'd have to watch all the different things and stuff, but that is the way that this all has been manipulated. I mean, once you go through and you find out, like, you've been raised on Charles Manson being the devil, and then you find out that he didn't even do anything, that was the fucking CIA, like, it's mental how they demonize that guy. And no wonder he kept saying the shit he was saying when he was in prison. And then they'd have him talking crazy. Well, you get a very different look at it when you realize what the fuck is going on. And them trying to get him like, oh, he's so crazy, he's so crazy. They were scapegoating that motherfucker so hard, and it's so disgusting. And so all of these different, they just scapegoat people all the time. So Bonnie and Clyde, who knows what the real story is with Jesse James and shit. But I think there's been a lot of people throughout life that have been fucked over, and then they stand up, and then they get the people behind them going like, hey, kind of like Donald. And then the media comes in hard to try and turn the sales. And so, that is kind of like, I don't know. I mean, it's been quite clear that that's what they've been doing. Donald made that clear, is how it has been playing out. It trips me out so much because there's this whole group too who thinks this is about to go down, and it's all about to be revealed that Donald cheated and this is so fucking absurd. I can't even believe it. And this is all about to be revealed. He'll never be in that house. It's like, it is so weird. And then when these people sit there and call him a dictator and stuff, it's like, what dictator gets voted in and then he can't even go and take the office? Like, what are you talking about, people? Like, and see, they just don't know. And they're coming at it from such a different angle. It's so weird. And so where their angle merges with truth is going to be the, enlightenment. I mean, so I don't know. It seems like that is going to be a part of what's going to play out too, because there's something that they're all expecting. Something's about to happen. And then that one woman's dead grandma said that the 13th, that it was going to be seen about that today, the 11th, is when this guy who's been arrested, and they're trying to say he's the one who did all this, even though he's also saying he did it. There's just way too much weird shit. Like, it's all so set up. And so it's always set up to bring out more. There's always more. And I don't know if the more is to show how, I mean, if he went to a specific place to be arrested, to show how certain corruption that's going to be exposed there. We got Jay-Z saying, oh, she's just trying to get money from me. Dude, I'm so sick of these fuckers. Like, I can't wait to see these people go down. They live off lies. Their lies have worked for a long time against people. They go around hurting people, and they don't stop. This isn't like a one-time thing. He did that like years ago, and he saw the light and changed. No, he only got worse and worse and worse. And these people have no care about people who they look as below them. They don't give a shit. They'll fucking eat you for supper. They don't give a fuck. And I don't even know that they're human. Like, there's lots of things, of a whole thing about Jay-Z on airlines, that he was shape-shifting, and everybody was getting all his footage, and Twitter went down. The whole Twitter went down in order to protect Jay-Z. This was years ago, but it was in the time that we had Twitter, so it wasn't that long ago. So anyways, I don't even know. And to me, even with Beyonce, I say that's not even the same person. Whoever she was at the beginning, I'm sure that they took her DNA and then they started making these other ones. Because I don't think that she would have become this evil. I think she was even like a church girl or something. And she's become like, I don't know, like, to me, somebody shapeshifted into her that's just pure evilness. And so there's more with that. More people coming out saying more stuff about her. So she's going to be going too. All these people, the ones that are of the dark, the dark will separate. This is the separation. The dark and the light are separating. And a lot of people carry a lot of dark in them. And so it's going to be, the light is going to be shining on their dark. That's going to be the mirror before you. And that is your chance. That's like, lights are on. This is your chance to heal it and get the darkness out of you. Some of these are so dark that they are just the dark. Like, I don't know, because if we're in this realm, in this lower density, and some of these beings, like I've said before, some beings are in their soul form and can shapeshift and stuff. They can look different. And we are birthed into like these spacesuits, these what they call containers. So we are in a containment that is like to me, it protects you in this thing, but it gives you, it's like the difference of being in a room without a virtual reality on and being in a room with one on. It gives you a whole new sensation. It gives you a whole new perspective on being alive. So the container, it grounds you into feeling, into emotions and all that stuff. But that's the problem, is that so much of that has gotten out of control, and it's been over lifetime after lifetime. And so that's why it's got to be this big thing now about putting all the pieces back together and clearing your darkness out. But that is the enlightenment part. That's the letting go. But you can't just, suck all the darkness out of you. You got to get it in balance, because you have dark and light. And so you have to find the balance. And so you have to heal it. You have to, and some things you have to forgive, some things you have to, sometimes you have to take things that you weren't using, because to me, like as a woman, a mom or whatever, I was always worrying about somebody else's feelings. Like my kids walked all over me. And people said it all the time. And so that's what I'm saying. You got to get it, especially if your kids are kicking your ass. My kids weren't kicking my ass. Well, one of my daughters did get more when she was a teenager, got more violent like that, more like hit you and stuff. But little kids like that, you better get fucking handle on it. And it's not like a 2-year-old having a temper tantrum kicking at you. When a 5 or 7-year-old is demanding that they want this or that and you won't give it to them and they start beating you up, that's got a problem. And so anyways, but it's always this worrying about somebody else's feelings. And that is not you protecting yourself, not you taking care of yourself. And when you're not taking care of yourself and you just keep giving and giving and giving and giving, then see the sweater, everything just starts feeling so weird. It feels like all these hairs are like, I don't know. It's very uncomfortable. Everything feels so weird. Like right now, just sitting here, it feels like there's needles in the chair that are like this. Something is weird. Like, I don't know what the fuck, man. The ground's still vibrating too. So anyways, man, that was something that just went across there. For a second, I thought it was like a light coming in, but then it went, which I still don't know what the fuck those are. I never see anything flying around here. I don't know what the fuck it is. So, anyways, well, I mean, I see weird, like, little things, but not, like, little weird white bugs flying around. So, I don't know. But always on here. It's like one flies by. It's like, what the fuck is that? So, let me see. Okay, I'm about to be finished. Let me think what it was I was going to say. So, when you are putting yourself aside, you become resentful. And then you become more hateful. You become more bitter. You become more... firing back on somebody else. And it's not that they deserve it or something. It's because you keep putting yourself out. So it makes you angry. It makes you short-tempered. And so it changes you when you don't take care of yourself. It changes you into a person that you aren't really are, unless you're taking care of yourself. And that is about this finding balance. And you got to use some of your dark to be able to take care of yourself, because your dark is your protector. The dark is the side of you that's willing to stand up for yourself. And so that part of you has to be there. You can't sit there and worry about like, and it's not even good for people, just like that woman. That's not good for your kids to sit there and let them be that out of control and stuff. That's not helping them develop into being good people and being confident and feeling good about themselves. At some point, they're going to know they're out of control, that they have got issues and stuff. And then they'll start developing these little fucking games. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. And then do it again. It's like, oh, I'm sure their wife will appreciate this bullshit in the future. Like, you gotta get a fucking handle on these people. And it's kind of like teaching them to regulate themselves or something, but you're not doing anybody any favors by letting people be out of control around you. Letting people walk all over you. It's not making you into a better person. As a matter of fact, it's making the people who are around you even suffer too. Like, we all have to take it into account how much healthier of a situation that we have in the society when we can all be healthy together, and when we can be honest. When somebody says something, you're honest rather than trying to just make them feel good because you don't want to hurt their feelings. Like, everything is so toxic. Like, we have to be able to be real and say things that are real, because then that will help the person. And when the receiver, needs to learn how to not just take it and become like the victim or whatever, like poor me, and nobody likes me, or somebody says this or that. Like, we don't, it's hard because we don't need to be changing people and telling people how to behave, but we do need to be honest about how we're affected by the things that occur. And even when things that occur, how they affect you, that still is you. But there's just a certain part where people are not honest with other people. And so the people who think that this person accepts this, or they're okay with this or whatever, then this person just going about their thing thinking like everything's fine, because this person isn't saying, no, I don't want that, I don't like that. And just keep letting this person have their way. And that is not good for this person. Like, you have to be able to say, like, no, I don't like that, I don't want to do that, or whatever. You have to be able to put yourself out there sometimes, that vulnerable side, that part where you have to reveal something about you, of what it is you don't want, you don't like, or whatever. Because it isn't healthy to be always the one who is taking or giving. And that is how we have got this development, that we've got this society that is so based on this narcissism and victim. And and how do we change that? Well, if we are the narcissist, we start trying to dismantle that side of ourselves, this controlling side of ourselves, this part where we prioritize our feelings over everybody else's. There's a big major things that we got to heal if that's how we feel. And then on the one who's just giving and giving and giving, then you're going to have boundaries. You're going to have to start standing up for yourself. You're going to have to start being real. You're going to have to start being vulnerable. Like, we all have to find these balances. So if you notice in your life, like, I'm always the victim, I'm always getting beat down, start looking at your toxic behavior so that you can heal them. And if you're always the one who is pushing people away, you're always the one who's angry, you're always the one who always thinks about themselves, it's not like because you're a bad person or something. You've been hurt too. And, oh, I've heard a couple of good stories the other day. I'll leave these ones. So one of them was a woman in a nursing home, and she worked there, and she wore these red shoes, and they had the dance music on, and all the people out there dancing and stuff. So she comes out and she's dancing with her red shoes on, and one of the little ladies comes up to her and is like, oh, I always wanted red shoes, I love your shoes. And so she's like, here, have my shoes. And she gives them to her, and the woman's like, oh, those won't fit me. And she's the same size. Magic. And so she puts them on and she goes out and she's just dancing. The woman who gave her the shoes is just bawling her head off, like, I cannot believe how happy I just made that lady by giving her my shoes. And just this super raw emotional thing that she was going through, just the realization and the kindness. And then the other one was this woman. She was at the grocery store and she was paying. There was a woman behind her and they're kind of chatting. The third person starts saying snotty stuff and being really rude to the person who was paying. The person who was paying, everybody was kind of like shocked. The person who was paying was like, she totally turned it. And she started being like, I can't remember the first thing she said, you know, like, are you okay? And the woman, I don't remember, she kind of just like shut up or whatever. And then she said some more things or whatever. She kept saying that when she was looking in the woman's eyes, all she could see was pain. And so she said, and she felt like this woman probably had not been hugged in a long time. And she said, can I hug you? This is going to make me emotional. I was bawling through the story. So she, the woman let her hug her and she exchanged numbers with her and set up a luncheon appointment or a day to go get coffee, because she could recognize that this woman wasn't just being a bitch because she's just a bitch, that she's in pain and she's sad and she's lonely. And the woman could pick up on that right away and turn it the other direction instead of, well, fuck you, I'm paying my fucking, you know, I like what it's turning into in a lot of situations. When you can get to that part, see, like, she's totally transmuting the energy, totally changing that woman's life. And it's so crazy how just little tiny kindnesses can make such a difference, can impact this world. And once we're all in this kind of same kind of state of mind as like these ladies of just wanting to do good in the world, just being kind, then that's when our world is going to be changing. That's the kind of world we're going to have it change into, is a world that is built on kindness and love, acceptance. And that's what we all want. We all want that for ourselves. And so we have to be willing to give it. We have to be willing to do it. And how are you going to do it? You're going to learn how to love yourself, love everyone, and have a loving day, because it's totally up to you. So let's work on it, because it's vibrating and no telling what's going to go down. So I'll talk to you later. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye.